G'day, this is Adam Harrison from Birdwood Guitars, and you're watching the Cigar Box Guitar Builder. Now today we're not building a cigar box guitar. You can see this length in front of you. We're going to be building a shovel guitar. So this is the first video in a short series of how to build a shovel guitar. Alright, you are going to need a shovel. Today is going to be all about the parts that you're going to need. Alright. Sounds pretty simple just to get a shovel, but you're going to have to make sure that you get the right shovel. I know it sounds silly. If you have a little look at this angle here, it's got a shallow break angle. Some shovels kick up and come right down. They're not going to be any good. What you want is the lowest possible action for your hand, because when you're playing slide here, I've looked around and I've used different shovels. Ones that have a big kick here, you're going to find it's very difficult to with a slide to actually fret those strings. Alright, so keep that angle nice and low. For Aussies, I've bought this one from Bunnings. It's a Saxon shovel. It's a good solid shovel. The steel is very, very good. Plastic handle, and I'll show you how to deal with that in another video. So that's the shovel. That's the one I would suggest. Alright, next step. Aluminium you're going to need. Okay, this is going to be for the nut. So again, I've bought this from Bunnings. Here in Australia, I think you guys in the States have got Harbour Freight. I think there was Bunnings in the UK, but I think they went bust. So this is just a very small piece of L-shaped aluminium. Experiment, guys. You know, that's what I did. Now, this is another piece of aluminium which I use for the bridge. Now you'll notice that the base is a little wider than the top. Okay, you don't have to go too high. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to cut that a little bit later. So that's the second thing you're going to need, well, third thing, technically. You are going to need machine heads. I would suggest getting electric guitar style machine heads, the ones with the 10mm hole and the screw-in top. Okay, so I would definitely suggest those. I bought these from MRWS. Okay, now the next thing, and probably the most important thing, I'm going to say this emphatically. I've seen a few shovel guitars around and it's arguable, but I'm going to argue the point. Do not cut holes in this shovel. Okay, now the reason I know that is I've done a couple, okay, with the holes cut out for a standard humbucker. Don't do it. Alright, don't do it. What I've found is that that's your tension point on the shovel. That's where all the rigidity of the shovel, that's where all of that strength comes from, is from this dimple. This section here is creating all of that strength in the shovel. As soon as you cut a hole, okay, here in the shovel, okay, you lose all of the strength in the shovel, and you also lose one thing which is really important. You lose your tuning stability, alright, because it's too flexible. You will actually still be able to, once this is actually all set up, I'll actually still be able to get a tremolo effect by pressing down on this, even though this will be completely strong. Do not cut holes, big holes in the shovels, please. Okay, and I'm telling you this from experience. I can see there's some shovels on some selling sites where they've cut big holes in them. If you guys are watching this, please do yourself a favor. I'm going to show you a pickup that you can use and not have to worry about the structural integrity of the guitar. All right. Please forgive me. I'm not being a smarty pants. This is just from experience. I've built 20 of these, and we just had the last ones just sold as well. So we're up to 21 guitars. Like, they're moving strong. I've built a few of them. This is the pickup you want. I don't care where you get them. Elmer's Eilhofer sells them in Europe. CB Giddy sells a version of them as well. This particular one, I buy these from Michael Breedlove at MGB. I love them. Get the little caps as well, and basically that all gets glued inside the cap, and the cap just sits on top of the guitar. It's as simple as that. You only need to cut 2 tiny holes in the top of the guitar, in the shovel, which I'll show you how to do a little later. So if you're prepping, getting things ready, I highly suggest buying this type, okay, of pickup. I don't care where you get it from anyone you want, all right? I'm just saying this is where I've got this from. I really like these. You can buy these as well in a humbucker format as well. Okay, they all come sealed, beautifully sealed. Okay, and you can get them as a humbucker. I really like the tone of the single coil myself. You get 60 cycle hum, but that's part of the tone that I love. It's a real raw, gutsy kind of sound. Very, very powerful. All right, so that's the pickup I would suggest. The next thing you're going to need is one of these. Do not use normal wood drill bits, okay, on these shovel guitars, because all that's going to happen is you'll blunt the bits and that they'll die really quickly. You're going to learn from experience if you haven't drilled into this type of metal before. If you hear a high-pitched whine on the drill bit, okay, you're probably a little bit too late. You've probably blunted the drill bit. Go slow, okay? These drill bits like to go really nice and slow. Dig in, don't overpower them, okay? These drill bits, these step ones, are really great. You may need one, depending on, you might even need 2 of these if you haven't had experience before doing these guitars. I got this from Bunnings, again. They're not necessarily cheap. I've also invested in these, which are specifically designed to drill into sheet metal. Even then, they still go. Okay, so I do lots of these shovel guitars, and that's one of the reasons, you know, people say, hey, look, it's a $10 shovel, why are you charging $350 for a shovel? Well, firstly, I build them. The second thing is I've got to replace these a lot, okay, and these are not cheap. This is worth about $25 a pop. So there's one. I tend to use the actual drill bits more than the step bits, but you can, if you're starting out, definitely do these, okay? So that's it for today. That's just a little idea of what you're going to need to start building the guitar. Next thing we're going to do is measure everything up, tape everything up, and that'll be our next video. Until then, bye from Adam at Build Guitars and the Cigar Box Guitar Builder. Bye.